Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the lady from the 3rd District of Bukidnon, the Honorable Audrey K. Zubiri, to avail of the privilege R.
Maayong hapon ang kinatawan sa Bukidnon sa 13 Distrito, Congresswoman Audrey K. T. Zubiri, Bukidnon. You're recognized, ma'am. Please proceed.
Daghang salamat, Mr. Speaker. Ugmayong hapon sa inyo, ugmayong hapon sa tanan. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, and to my fellow Filipinos, good afternoon. I rise today on a matter of both personal and collective privilege. I speak for the countless ordinary citizens whose lives are quietly being torn apart by online lending, a predatory system disguised as convenience. We live in a digital world where innovation promises progress. Yet, for millions of Filipinos, the very platforms created to offer financial relief have become instruments of torment. Lending is nothing new to us. We have long relied on it, from the classic 5-6 system to pawning of valuables, borrowing from friends, family, and banks. Credit for many has been a lifeline, a way to survive. But with the advent of digital technology and social media, poverty, indebtedness, and financial distress have worsened. The widespread adoption of online lending platforms has indeed brought swift access to credit, especially for those underserved by traditional banking institutions. Online lending companies offer convenience, minimal requirements, quick approval, and a removal of collateral requirements compared to traditional banking institutions. According to a 2025 study, the number of new and unique users of online lending platforms surged by a staggering 43%, reaching 67.84 million Filipinos. Truly, online lending platforms have significantly changed the financial landscape in our country. But this facade of convenience and increase in financial inclusion comes at a higher cost. Many Filipinos, driven by desperation, vices, or urgent need for money, accept exorbitant interest rates offered by these online lending companies, trapping them in a relentless cycle of debt. Interest rates in online lending applications can go as high as 1% a day, even with the existing laws and regulations for loan interest rates. Meanwhile, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas indicated that approximately 1 in 3 Filipino households has outstanding debt. Aside from housing loans, most of these debts are sourced through non-bank financing institutions, including online lenders. A fintech report now warns that credit card debt in the Philippines has reached a critical risk level, giving us the worst debt-to-income ratio in Asia at 425%. To make things worse, borrowers are subjected to highly aggressive and utterly dehumanizing collection tactics. These abusive practices include relentless threatening calls and messages, public shaming on social media, unauthorized access to personal contacts, and even the audacious impersonation of law enforcement officers. Such actions not only violate the dignity of our citizens, but also brazenly contravene several Philippine laws. Our nation is not without legal framework to combat these abuses. Key statutes such as the Republic Act No. 11765 or the Financial Products and Services Consumer Protection Act expressly prohibits financial service providers from employing abusive collection practices against consumers. RA No. 3765, the Truth in Lending Act, mandates the full disclosure of essential loan terms and conditions, while RA 9474, or the Lending Company Regulation Act of 2007, allows lending companies to only charge reasonable interest rates and charges upon the debtor. RA 10173, or the Data Privacy Act, stands as a shield to protect personal data from unauthorized processing and disclosure by lending companies. Moreover, the Securities and Exchange Commission issued Memorandum Circular Number 18, Series of 2019, unequivocally banning abusive debt collection methods like threats, harassment, and public shaming, especially in the online lending context. Even the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has issued several circulars emphasizing fair collection practices for banks and financial institutions. In fact, the Supreme Court itself, in a 2024 decision, struck down interest rates as high as 60% per annum or 5% per month, reminding us that contractual autonomy is not absolute but must be balanced with laws, morals, good customs, public order, and public policy. Unfortunately, despite the existing laws and government regulations, the persistence and escalation of these issues cry out for streamlined, more coordinated measures. The surge in online lending post-pandemic has been tragically accompanied by a significant rise in complaints about abusive collection practices. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, PAOC, recently revealed that the Philippine National Police have recorded 156,000 complaints of online crimes per month, with most of these cases involving victims of harassment from online lending applications. The PAOC further disclosed that currently it is handling over 15,000 complaints against abusive online lending applications. The SEC itself has reported receiving over 10,000 complaints of unfair collection practices, and a sobering 2024 study found that while most online lending applications had positive user ratings, the critical themes of high interest rates, hidden charges, and aggressive collection practices were significantly more prevalent among unregistered online lending applications. This sweet temptation of having easy money leads to a cruel reality for ordinary Filipinos, and one which may cost lives. In July 2025, a man from Valenzuela City tragically took his own life, partly due to prolonged harassment and psychological abuse from online lending collectors. And sad to say, his is not the only story of suicide that we have heard in connection with online loaning apps. In another heartbreaking case, a 26-year-old civil servant suffered severe depression after being publicly shamed about her debts. Furthermore, this issue has escalated beyond financial crime and is now a matter of national security. The recent raids conducted by the National Bureau of Investigation and the PAOC have uncovered large-scale operations run by foreign nationals. And these are not isolated incidents. Authorities have expressed concerns that these are organized transnational criminal syndicates, some possibly former POGO operators who have shifted to this new form of exploitation. They are illegally harvesting the sensitive personal data of millions of Filipinos, our contact lists, our private photos, our identification details. When foreign elements can operate with impunity on our soil, exploiting our people and our laws, it is a direct challenge to our national sovereignty. Indebtedness in online lending companies is further intensified by the proliferation of online gambling activities in the country. While they may appear separate, desperation, addiction, and pressure from online gambling fuels the urge for more Filipinos to resort to easy money, online lending applications. This is further aggravated by the aggressive promotion of online lending companies of easy loans and quick cash through targeted ads in different online platforms, online gambling games, and even in text messages, promising instant relief to the financially vulnerable. The story is tragically simple and all too common. An individual drawn into the world of online gambling quickly loses their savings. Desperate to recoup their losses or simply to continue playing, they turn to online lending applications for a quick infusion of cash. The high interest loans are almost impossible to repay, And when the borrower inevitably defaults, the harassment begins. We have heard horrific stories of public shaming, threats, intimidation, leading to severe mental health issues, and as I mentioned earlier, in some tragic cases, even suicide. Mr. Speaker, this is not just about individual debt crisis. We are confronting a public financial threat, a pervasive digital privacy violation, and a systemic violation of the poor. Maawa po tayo sa ating mga kababayan. Lulong na nga sa sugal, lubog pa sa utang. This is a battle cry for the very soul of our nation, a fight to protect the most vulnerable among us from those who profit from their desperation. Because if the vulnerable cannot protect themselves, then the government must step in. And if we cannot protect our people from abuse and exploitation, then we have no business calling ourselves public servants. Maraming Pilipino po ang palihim na nagdurusa. Most are ashamed to share their torment with their families. Others are pushed to the edge by the relentless harassment and highly aggressive collection tactics employed by these online lending companies. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I implore this august chamber to remember our sacred oath to protect our people, not only from economic hardship, but from the insidious exploitation that disguises itself as assistance. We must ensure that our laws are not just words on paper, but vigorously enforced. It is imperative for us to stop this cycle of abuse, stop online lending abusive practices, ban online gambling, and protect our people from exploitation before we lose more lives to a system that shamelessly profits from their suffering. The time for decisive action is now. Let us rise to this challenge and deliver justice to Filipinos. Daghang salamat, ug sa makausa, maayong hapon sa tanan.
Daghang kayong salamat o mayong hapon sa ikatulong distrito na Congresswoman, Kongresista Audrey K. Zubiri.
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker,
Congressman Abante,
may I be
What's your
allowed
pleasure?
to just ask some voter questions to our gentle lady here?
Congresswoman Zubiri.
To me, Mr. Speaker, this is a revelation actually.
You wish to interpolate, sir?
Yes, please. I welcome the questions from our good gentleman.
Salamat.
Please proceed.
Do we have specifically a law that concerns the online lending? We don't have any?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't hear you so well.
Do we have a law specifically
Yes.
on the online gambling, online lending?
Online lending, not yet, sir, because right now our laws are still have not quite caught up with our technology. For example, our laws that are concerning gambling, concerning the lending, are still our Lending Regulation Company Regulation Act of 2007, and you know, between 2007 and 2025, the rise in technological advancements has just outdated it, and so that is what we have. We have other laws as well, such as the Republic Act of number 11765, Financial Products and Services, and 3765, Truth in Lending Act. But again, as I mentioned, many of these laws were created more than 10 to 20 years ago, and so they are no longer able to address the concerns of online lending.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we have a lot of vintage laws that ought to be changed actually. But are you now preparing some bills concerning that?
Yes,
Madam-
yes, Congressman. Actually, right now, tomorrow we have scheduled briefings with some sectors that are kind of part of the online lending, the people who are concerned, and we hope to get enough information from them so that we can craft a credible law that will be able to address the gaps in our current online lending act. And hopefully by next week, we will be able to file our new bill on the regulation of online lending.
Very good. I would like to be a part of that as co-author. you.
Thank you very much, sir. It would be my pleasure and honor to have you join us.
Mr. Speaker, also, would like to ask the Madam Gentle Lady here. Do you think that there is a connection between the online gambling and the online lending?
I personally, Congressman, I fervently believe that there is. If we look at right now, we do not have much data supporting, like we don't have much data, but if we look at what data we have, we will see that the online gambling revenues and the increase beginning from the years of 2023 to 2025 is quite in line with the surge in the new and unique users of online lending apps. You will see na parang nagsabay po. Kung naka-graph po siya, makikita natin na halos sabay ang kanilang pag-surge. And it really makes you it really suggests that there must be a connection between these two, especially since in many online gambling apps, there is also a quick link that leads to online lending apps. So it's very easy for people to just click that and get the money that they need.
Mr. Speaker, kung wala tayo talagang specifically na batas sa online lending, ibig sabihin, lahat ng online lending ngayon, illegal, di ba?
Meron po tayong, what's happening po is yung ating sa SEC, no? Meron silang mga rules na kailangan makakuha po sila ng Certificate of Authority to operate. And once they have that Certificate of Authority to operate, meron din po silang secondary document na kailangan makuha, which is the Online Lending Application Registration. So at the moment, ang SEC po nakapagbigay na po ng over 2,000 registered financial and lending companies. Pero out of that 2,300 po, only 108 lending companies have reported their online lending platforms, which I find hard to believe that there are only 108 online lending applications. So those are just the ones that are registered. And of course, we are aware that there are also those which are not registered.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, Madam Gentle Lady, there are how many lending companies that are legal in this country?
Currently, we have, as of January 2025, there are over 2,000 registered
Okay.
financial and lending companies. But the regular lending does not cover the online lending expressly.
But not necessarily that they should be involved in online lending.
Yes, it
Di
should be
ba?
covered, sir. Yes,
Oo.
Congressman.
Therefore, Mr. Speaker, Madam Gentle Lady, this online lending, walang pagkakaiba ito. The online gambling din as far as harassing the poor people are concerned, di ba? As far as yung mga mahihirap ay nagiging biktima ng online lending na ito tulad na sila ay biktima din ng online gambling. Am I right?
Totoo po yun, Your Honor. Kasi parang nag-iba lang yung pangalan, nag-iba lang yung dating niya na yung isa, kunwari for entertainment, habang ito naman ay kunwari pang assistance, pero ang punot dulo nito ay nahihirapan pa rin ang ating mga taong bayan.
Pero mga nagsasabi, because I filed the bill actually on online gambling, that there ought to be a total ban to it. Ngayon, may mga nagsasabi na if you have a total ban on online gambling, lalakas ang loob ng mga illegal na mga operators. They would go underground. Ngayon, pag ginawa nating illegal ang online lending, would you think that they will also go underground and they will also operate illegally, like, for example, like wedding or...
Well, with regards po firstly to our banning of online gambling, first of all, I would like to manifest my support. I actually filed one also very similar, calling for the complete ban. And with regards to yung pagbaba po niya na magiging underground, no, hindi po natin maiiwasan na syempre pag binan natin ang ating online gambling, meron at merong mga pasaway na mag-underground niyan. But number one, I firmly believe that what we as lawmakers have a responsibility to make sure that online gambling does not have a safe harbor in our country. And by keeping it as legal and regulated only, we are providing a safe harbor. We're just giving it a chance to slide under us, under the veneer of regulated. So hindi dapat, wag po tayong matakot na maging bumaba siya as illegal, dahil what we have to do is we have to send a strong message that there is no room in our country for online gambling. And once it becomes illegal, all illegal, then at least our law enforcers, our agencies can now put all their energy into cracking down on these illegal companies rather than trying to regulate and keep up with the legal ones. So that is first. Ngayon naman po, with regards to our online lending apps, sa ngayon po, we are still studying if we can actually make it completely banned, because it appears that due to our constitutional laws, no, and of course to the there really is no way that we can ban lending in our country. And so what we are hoping to do is that we can at least put much stronger safeguards. At the moment kasi, we have been studying it, and it appears that we don't have enough guardrails. For example, yung ating mga lending licenses, kailangan 1 million lang ang nasa bangko, o kaya para sa financing license, kailangan 10 million lang ang nasa bangko. Parang we are encouraging anyone, any mom and pop to put up this, and talagang madaling magkaroon ng mga fly-by-night na lending companies. So kailangan talaga our government agencies have to step up and really regulate this and put the proper guardrails in place. Instead of 1 to 10 million pesos, siguro dapat nasa 100 million, 300 million pesos. I mean, malaking negosyo to. Hindi naman pwedeng 1 to 5 million lang ang kapital ng ating mga lenders.
So, ibig sabihin, Mr. Speaker, yung sa online lending, merong humihiram o umuutang ng mga milyon na.
Sa ngayon po, I do not think that they cater to to people who need millions of pesos. But we are, based on our research, we have come across the fact that online lenders are actually disbursing between some online lenders are actually disbursing up to billions of pesos per month.
You
Yung
made
mga
mention,
maliliit
Mr. Speaker, that you kanina na-mention mo din na this online lending are owned by foreign
There have been some po. In fact, there were some reports of the NBI who were able to do some raids. And upon raiding yung mga nakikita natin, yung mga na-raid nila, ito po, last June 2025, the Bureau of Immigration and the National Bureau of Investigation arrested 9 foreign nationals involved in an online loan fraud scheme. And
in the Philippines, Madam
Yes,
Mr. Speaker.
yes, Your Honor, in the Philippines. And in July 2025, 168 employees were arrested by authorities during
My
a raid
goodness.
in the office of an online lending application in Ortigas. And this lending firm is owned by a Chinese national, according to PAOK Executive Director Gilbert Cruz.
Do they have affiliates that are local businessmen here in the Philippines?
I would imagine in order for them to be able to register and to be able to get the necessary documents from our agencies, they must have a local Filipino counterpart fronting for them.
Therefore, kung karamihan ng online lending na ito, ang nagmamay-ari ay foreign entities, hindi nagbabayad ng tamang buwis to. Or actually, they're not paying any tax at all.
Nako, siguro malalaman natin sa BIR. Maganda siguro mapatawag natin ang ating mga kaibigan doon.
Mr. Speaker, I think this would be one of the investigations that Quadcom 2.0 should also consider investigating, Mr. Speaker. And with that also, maraming salamat po, Madam Gentle Lady, for this. I also would like to say, Mr. Speaker, August 12 po ngayon, I just would like to recognize yung Quadcom ng 19th Congress. Nagsimula po ito ng August 12. So, I would like to just recognize and honor our chairman, Ace Barbers, who is no longer with us, Dan Fernandez and Karapatuano, and of course, Romy Acop, no, for a job well done. Kaya ngayon po, August 12, 2025, I would like to say na ito po yung anniversary actually ng Quadcom ng 19th Congress, and we shall continue and finish this, including na po yung online lending na sinasabi ng ating Congressman. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Maraming salamat, Congresswoman Zubiri, and of course, Congressman Abante. And thank you for reminding the chair and the plenary of the 1-year anniversary of the Quadcom. Well done, sir. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, prior to any other motion, the majority leader would like to remind our colleagues that if ever they do intend to signify their intend to interpolate, to please inform the majority leader, because we have a list that we have and other members have already signified their intent to interpolate. And also to remind the speakers availing of the privilege hour to either when replying or questioning to address the speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that reminder, Majority Leader. We still have 11 registrants for the privilege hour. That will
Mr.
be our
Speaker,
reminder. One moment. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the gentleman from the 1st District of Northern Samar, the Honorable Nico Raul Daza, to avail for his interpellation.
The gentleman of Samar, Representative Nico Raul Daza is recognized, sir. Please proceed.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If I may I ask the distinguished Madam of Bukidnon, the Honorable Audrey Zubiri, a few clarificatory questions.
I welcome the questions of the honorable gentleman.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, to play devil's advocate, millions of people are availing of these online loans and being helped with their everyday lives. Is it worth going after these apps when they are helping so many? And really, shouldn't it be the borrower's responsibility to read the loan terms?
Absolutely. I believe that we should definitely go after these online lending apps. This is far more complex than an ordinary 5-6 situation gone wrong. We are dealing with multiple violations of various Republic Acts, such as the data privacy violations under RA 10173, collection abuse and harassments under RA 11765, predatory interest rates under RA 9474, as well as misleading false terms in transactions, which we find in violation of RA 3765. And so I dare say, apart from these violations of our Republic Act, as I mentioned, it is also now a threat to our national security, as it has come to light that many of these operating lenders, online lending apps, are actually owned by foreign nationals. And so we must definitely go after them before it's too late. And with regards to the responsibility of our borrowers, I do, of course, yes, the borrower's responsibility is to read the contract. But we have to understand that these contracts are usually presented as very long, voluminous documents, written usually in English with a lot of legal jargon. And while this practice complies with the legal requirements of our laws, it does not address the realities of our situation, which is the fact that many of our borrowers actually come from very vulnerable sectors. And so more often than not, they are not even able to fully comprehend these long contracts that they are simply clicking I agree with at the end. Because also usually there is a big case of financial illiteracy as well. And so they are making uninformed decisions, almost as if like under duress. And, in times like this, when lenders are also using deception and coercion, I think it's time for the burden to shift not from our borrowers, but to our agencies and to our government to make sure that our borrowers are protected.
On this note, Mr. Speaker, a few more clarificatory questions for the distinguished Madam of Bukidnon. May I ask, what are the sample interest rates imposed by these online lending apps, and how many of these are actually registered with the SEC?
I'm sorry, did you ask about interest rates?
Yes.
Yes, interest rates. Our interest rates, okay, so I have a few samples. As I mentioned earlier, the most extreme we have heard is interest rates of about 1% per day. But we have from 4 SEC registered online loaning apps such as MoneyCat, it is 11.9% per month. Tala Loan is 0.5% per day. Juan Hand is 9 to 12% per month, and ACOM is 4.98% per month. And so when you look at 0.5%, it sounds very easy to deal with. But when you put that together on an annual basis, you're looking at approximately 182% per annum.
Okay, and then, Mr. Speaker, how many of these online lending companies are registered with the SEC?
We have about 2,300 registered lenders, but of those lenders, only 108 have registered their online activities.
Mr. Speaker, I ask, what does the distinguished Congresswoman propose about these online lending apps?
Well, first of all, I propose that we have a legislative inquiry to identify the possible gaps in our existing laws. As we mentioned earlier, many of the laws that we have, which are in connection with loans and lending, have come from decades past. And now with the advent of these new technologies, we need to update them, we need to keep up to date, and we need to make sure that we are able to face the demands of the current situation. Aside from this, I believe that it's time to strengthen as well the requirements of our agencies. It's time to ask for, number one, to increase their capitalization, more due diligence. They have to head count the Filipino workers, check Filipino offices. There was an instance where there was a raid done, and the office that was registered was in a hotel located on Rojas Boulevard. But when our NBI went to that said hotel, obviously the lobby told them that there was no such office operating in that hotel. And so I'm wondering how this company was able to get a license. And of course, we must test the apps to make sure it's even working. There are stories that say that some online lending applications are able to get their licenses without even being able to show the app yet. We also have to take into consideration that nowadays there are also stories that some of these apps are actually malware, meaning they are downloaded by our borrowers thinking that this will help them get the assistance they need, not knowing that aside from giving them the assistance they need, these malware are actually scraping their phones and taking their personal data. And that is how some of them are able to get the phone numbers, email addresses, or even passwords of these borrowers. And of course, I would also like to, of course, enhance, update some of our laws. I will not go into each and every one as it's quite long. And I think that's more for a committee, but I believe our laws it's ripe for an update when it comes to online lending.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Representative Zubiri. Mr. Speaker, I would like to manifest my full support and gratitude to the distinguished Madam of Bukidnon, Representative Audrey Zubiri, for shedding light on the predatory and exploitative practices in the online lending industry. I think the Honorable Zubiri said it best, ang ating mga kababayan ay lubog na sa sugal, lubog pa sa utang. It is my hope that this August Chamber refers this issue or concern to the appropriate committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Daghang salamat, Congressman Dasa, and of course, Congresswoman Zubiri. Majority Leader.